Cool. Here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Spirit of Aviation judging deliberations. For those of you who don't know, there's a great competition run by the charity Aerobility, a charity which has 27 years' experience in getting people with disabilities to ask a question: if I can fly an aeroplane, what else can I do? And I think we can all agree this is just an extension of this brilliant ethos. So the Spirit of Aviation competition, so the opportunity for people up and down the UK, but also across the world, to stay connected with the charity and have this opportunity to compete with friends and others in the community to build and design an aircraft that will fly out of materials found around the house. Very simple idea, but very effective too. This competition has two categories: under 16s and over 16s. And our judges today will be judging the entrants on their creativity, their artwork, their flying ability, and of course what it's all about, the fun factor of the aircraft. So without further ado, let me introduce to you your judges. We have the CEO of Aerobility, Mike Miller-Smith, Squadron Leader of the Red Arrow, Ldr Martin Pert, and Jessica Cox, a real inspirational pilot to all of us, and a lady who summed up what Aerobility is about. Good evening to you all. How are you all doing?
Great.
Evening, Harvey. Really well.
Good. And Mike, how are you?
Very good, thanks, Harvey. Really looking forward to this session.
Excellent. So, strange times we're meeting, and we would usually meet up in person. How have we all found lockdown?
Well, for us at the Red Arrows, it's obviously been a pretty tough year. We'd usually be out on the road and displaying every single weekend and certainly through the week as well. But at the moment, we find ourselves confined to our home base. We are still wearing the red suit. We are still practicing and rehearsing our displays, ready to go should we be able to crack a few in before the end of the season. But yeah, like everyone else, we're kind of restricted to our home plate and trying to keep as safe as we possibly can.
But I hear it was a busy but frustrating day for you on Saturday with the typical Great British weather.
Yeah, we haven't got many opportunities to get out in front of the public this year. And it's so frustrating that one of the big occasions that we can, which was our VJ Day 75 commemorative flypasts all around the UK, were unfortunately scuppered by the poor conditions that we had around most of the UK. We did manage to squeeze in Belfast in Northern Ireland. We got a fly past over the Titanic building there, but unfortunately Edinburgh, Cardiff and London all missed out just thanks to the low cloud. We gave it our best shot. We managed to overfly Edinburgh, but just the cloud base at 100 feet wasn't having us, and neither was Cardiff, and certainly wasn't safe to go over London. But we gave it a good go, and hopefully we'll be back soon.
You definitely did. On Saturday, I was reading through the tabs, just thinking how frustrated you must have been after all that preparation.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think we'd have been better staying in bed that day.
But still good fun. And Jessica, you've also been out and about. You've been up to Washington, D.C.
Yes, we took the Aircoup airplane all the way Tucson, Arizona to the Washington, D.C. area, approximately 54 hours of flight time in a small plane. I didn't do all the flying, but I had a unique opportunity when the plane did arrive in the D.C. area. I had the opportunity to celebrate the 30 years of the Americans with Disabilities Act by taking up the senator who was the lead sponsor of the Americans with Disabilities Act in 1990. So Senator Tom Harkin came on board to my Aircoup airplane, and I took him around the pattern. And when we landed, he said, "I want one of these." So it was a great day to celebrate the 30 years of the ADA.
That's awesome. What is it like taking up the senator? Is that added pressure there?
It was definitely there was a little bit of more pressure, I think, because we had a couple cameras all rigged up. A lot of people were watching, and he had never been in an Aircoup. I don't believe he had ever been in that particular airplane, and I hadn't seen him for years. So there was a lot more pressure, but we had a good time, and I was just happy that the weather stayed beautiful for the rest of the day. So we had good weather. That was a big challenge. That was also something that created some pressure, but we were very fortunate. We had a great day.
All right, excellent, Needham. What a brilliant thing to do for a brilliant thing. And Mike, I guess you've been flat out busy as usual.
Yeah, we seem to be busier than ever at Aerobility. There's lots going on. Project Table, the Motor Glider project. It's quite an exciting day tomorrow. We're having the delivery of our trainer that's been built in Germany, which will allow us to move the airplanes around so we can start the refurbishment. The prototype is nearly finished its test flying in Germany, so hopefully we'll have our first operational airplane by the end of the year, which should be great. So that's adapted with hand controls, and it should be a really good low-cost airplane that we can use to teach disabled people to fly. And it's great that these airplanes that were grounded, we're returning them to flight for society benefit. So the more that we can get flying, the better. So that's very exciting. And also, we're just working on plans for the Aviators Ball, as you know, our big end-of-year bash and fundraiser. Clearly this year we can't do what we normally do, which is to gather at a lovely venue near London, 400 plus people. It won't be safe to do that this year. So we're just looking at other ways that we can celebrate together and hopefully raise some funds to support the charity in 2021. So yeah, lots to do as ever.
Yes, I was saying to you beforehand, it's great to see things still moving. I don't think COVID has stopped us. I think it's led us down a different path and ultimately made us stronger. So that's great. And as nice as it is to talk to you guys, let's get underway with the deliberation. So we're going to start off deliberating with the over 16 category for the Spirit of Aviation. So feel free to discuss and anyone kick off. But did we have anyone who stood out?
I did have a favorite that stood out for me was Nathan, and he had high scores in all the categories aside from the flying ability, but I gave him definitely a top score for creativity, for artwork, and for fun factor. The plane didn't fly as well, but all those other categories definitely stood out in my mind as one of my favorites.
It was a very well put together film as well, I thought. A real development.
Yeah, you could see the incremental improvement throughout, couldn't you? And I think, the great dance music going in the background, and I think also showed a great relationship between Nathan and his support worker, his carer, that helped him build it and test fly it. And I think that's what support can give you, is the chance to do things you couldn't otherwise do.
Yes, it was great to see that.
It was, and to some extent, that's what it was about. And how about Liz? I must say, her commentary at the beginning was fantastic.
Oh,
I know my 5-year-old daughter for Liz. for her unicorn jet. That's her favourite animal is a unicorn. So she would get the vote from the Pert family, that's for sure.
Well, that's good. That's very apt, because Liz is ex-Chinook Force, Martin. So that's keeping it in the family as well.
Keeping it in the family, absolutely. It wasn't the best flyer, however, and I think would have been better throwing that paperweight.
Mm-hmm.
I thought one that really stood out for me was Sally Beadle, and her incredible balloon effort. I mean, that was just a work of art, wasn't it? The festival trolley that she flew it on, and the story that went behind the sort of the testing procedures for it. And she was even dressed like one of our engineers in her blue uniform. So, that was a really impressive, valiant effort from, I think, Crazy Bananas, Sally Beadle.
There it is.
I was going to ask what drew you to that one, Mark.
And clearly I'm biased because of the actual model of the aircraft itself. But I mean, what a great colour, and it's almost life size. I'm pretty sure even I could almost get inside that.
And I was going to say it must be half, if not third scale.
It was also great to see Vic Williams, who I think picked a yellow aircraft, which looked exactly the same shade of yellow as the Red Arrow's predecessors, the Yellow Jacks. And I couldn't quite tell exactly what aircraft it was modelled on, but certainly recognised the colour. And see her repping 106 Squadron Air Cadets as well was also great to see that effort. And whilst we didn't see it fly, it certainly looked like an amazing model. And clearly, you can tell it's homemade. You can sort of see the craft work that's gone into it from what I'm sure is just things that were lying around the house or the Air Cadet Squadron. So definitely within the theme of the Spirit of Aviation as we asked for. Just a shame we didn't get to see what its flying qualities were like, because it's definitely got that aerofoil shape, and I think it might have actually flown quite well.
And I think it was our only multi-engine entry as well.
Mike Matthews, I mean, as a military pilot, I love anything to do with stealth, and he mentioned that as one of his prime qualities, even though I could actually see it. So I'm not entirely sure how he submitted that entry. Again, probably slightly terrifying if we were going to man that aircraft, given its inverted landing.
2, 1, go. That's meant to happen. The inverted landing is a design feature which aids, safety.
I don't think we'd find many pilots willing to take that thing up for a spin. But it definitely had the bracing struts and the experimental registration plate. So, yeah, I think Mike definitely deserves kudos for his efforts.
He does, and I hear the trial flight didn't go so well for that aircraft.
No, it really wasn't, and it just sort of dropped, didn't it? Out of dropped like a brick. So maybe a bit of refinement required on the aerofoil there.
I'm pleased to say his real life service airplane, he flies rather better, thankfully.
Glad to hear it.
I enjoyed James's airplane. I think I liked his precision on the windows of that particular airplane. I really noticed that, being the first video in the adult category. I enjoyed the intricate detail to the windows. And its flying ability as well. I think it flew very well.
And a really rigid looking main spar as well, which, is always good to see as a pilot, that you've got, definitely some structural integrity. And I think you're absolutely right, Jessica. Those windows that are symmetrical either side as well. So you get a beautiful view out of both sides if you happen to be inside that thing. Rick's aeroplane, I think we saw on a stick actually. So we didn't quite get to see up close, but I think probably our only sort of Second World War fighter that we maybe saw entered. But clearly we didn't get to see the flying quality of it, but the build quality looked like an incredible model. And I think almost entirely true to life on whatever scale that happens to be there. Probably 10th scale, a little bit smaller maybe. Difficult to get the perspective whether he's in the hedge there or a bit closer, but certainly a lovely garden ornament if nothing else.
The camouflage is certainly working there.
Excellent. Before we reveal the winner, we'll go into what I think is the most exciting category, and that's the under 16s. And it was fantastic to see so many youngsters getting involved and seeing that there's still passion for aviation, not that was ever doubted. I think getting involved with aviation is every youngster's dream, whether that's a boy or a girl, is fantastic. So great to see so many fantastic entries. Who stood out for you?
Well, what was really impressive, I think, for me, was exactly as you've said, Harvey. This is all about embracing the spirit of aviation. And we didn't just ask these youngsters to build us an aircraft. We wanted them to get involved and to understand what it was that they were building using sort of items from around the house. And what I loved about all the entry videos is that they were learning about aviation. We heard about, Julie's daughters, Emily, Lauren and Izzy.
We have made our plane out of a plastic bottle and cardboard. At first we only had one cardboard wing, but then we added another one to balance the weight. Hi, my name's Izzy and my plane's called Stealth. At first it was nosediving, so I added weight onto the front so it'll keep upright. I decorated it with stars on the back and painted it. So
it was Emily, Lauren and Izzy moving weights around, effectively adjusting the centre of gravity. A key component of aviation. We saw straw-propelled aircraft from Milo Whitfield. We saw Nathan's aircraft fly. It flew for ages. It flew for absolutely, ages and ages. And then Jake Officer's nosedive. And then just at the last minute, it sort of came up. And I think we just, saw the youngsters learning about aviation, which was just wonderful. So, yeah, it's going to be really difficult to pick a winner out of all of these, I think.
It is. And even more difficult because they're kids. So the pressure's on. We don't like to make things easy. But as you said, fantastic to see the learning going into it, and equally like the adults, the amount of effort and the intricacy of the design was just fantastic. Jessica, did anyone stand up for you?
One of the things that I liked was, again, seeing the excitement on all of their faces and how they were so engaged with this challenge. I think I especially liked the straw-propelled airplane because that was a different take on flying the airplane, something that I didn't even think about. I think that really was something I got excited about, seeing how these youngsters, Lily and Milo, the children of Susan, they both took that straw propelling method, and I actually wanted to do that. Now that I've seen that done, I will be probably working on something similar. I thought that was a really creative idea of flying the airplane.
Great, it definitely is. It's a good take. Mike, we'll come on to you next.
Thanks, Harvey. Yeah, I think just to reiterate, just a real great cross-section, the enthusiasm, the innovation. It's always great to see new ideas. And yeah, we've heard about the straw. That was a really good propulsion technique. We saw all sorts of things which you see in real civilian and military airplanes, like stealth and camouflage. I think in terms of standouts, I thought Nathan's was great.
Hi, I'm Nathan, and I'm taking part in the Spirit of Aviation Challenge. It's called Flash because it goes really far and really fast. I made the wings a bit wide because I want it to take the weight. And I did the point a bit bended because I find out that it flies better. This is how it flies.
The way he confidently introduced the aeroplane and then it flew all the way down the garden, the whole length of the garden. I thought that was really good and it flew very well. I thought Ryan's was great, a great design with some great artwork. We mentioned the stealth capability and that flew really well. I think we made it from a printer cartridge box, so that was a great use of recycling materials. I thought Sarah's airplane was great. Again, it was great fun. It was really creative. And that was, again, excellent for autonomous flight, flying automatically. And Jake's airplane, I thought that was really one of my highlights, one of the favourites. Really good flying characteristics. But old aviation adage, if it looks right, it will probably fly right. But that was certainly a good case for that one.
How about Kirsty Palmer?
I thought that was really funny when it crashed into the camera.
Yeah.
My main memory. But it was a great design for that youngster. You know, considering the age, I thought that was a really good design.
And also, Laura's children also did great designs. I really liked the colours on their aircraft. I think not all about flying, it's about design as well.
You're absolutely right, Harvey. We're so used to seeing sort of white aircraft all around the skies. Why haven't we seen so many colourful aircraft that have been designed with, felt tip pens? We really should see them, and all sorts of colours in the skies would certainly brighten them up a bit. So yeah, some great artwork as well.
It is. And why are aeroplanes mostly white?
That's because aeroplane designers are boring. We need more children.
Fair enough. That's a good answer there. I think if we were to combine all these designs from children, we would have a fantastic aeroplane to fly, I think.
Yeah, it might not fly very well, but that doesn't matter, does it? As long as it looks good.
It'll look cool. Yeah, exactly.
So excellent. We've been through all the entrants from both categories. Now we get to the fun bit, because we are going to see 3 reputable people from the aviation industry have a massive falling out. So let's move on to deliberating the winners of the 2020 Spirit of Aviation Challenge. I think I'll go around the room, get your over 16 winner, then your under 16 winner. So we'll go over 16 first. Jessica, if you had to choose your over 16 winner, who would that person be?
Should I give you the top 3, or would you like me to give you the top?
Go for the top 3.
The top 3 starts with the top being Nathan. Second, in my opinion, was Sally. And third, Victoria.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Martin, we'll come to you next.
Sure. Well, I'll go in reverse order then. So I think for me, third was Liz for the unicorn, because my daughter would shoot me if I didn't pick the unicorn aircraft. Second for me, I think, was Nathan Doidge. And then first for me was of course Sally with the red arrow.
Excellent. And that's a strange first place, but that's correct. Mike, we'll come to you last.
We didn't see that one coming, did we? With Martin.
We're going to make OK magazine with that one, I think. Cool. Your turn.
Thanks, Harvey. For me, I've got a joint third place. So I thought Liz with the unicorn jet was great, and the way it flew so much more effectively second time round shows that perseverance pays off. Victoria's also joint third. Only multi-engine aeroplane that looked great, beautifully painted, and great to see the Air Cadets represented. I think I'll have to put Sally into second place from Red Arrow just to give it some balance. But yeah, that was brilliant. Just the effort and the creativity and the sheer fun of that giant balloon Red Arrow was just brilliant. But I thought Nathan's video, the design, the way the design evolved throughout, so we could see it eventually fly well at the end. For me, that was my favourite. That was my winner.
Oh, excellent. So we have got a majority vote for the winner in the over 16 Spirit of Aviation challenge, and that is Nathan Doidge with his excellent entry. So, well done, Nathan.
Well done, Nathan.
Well done, Nathan.
A round of applause. I'm just imagining it. The crowd is going wild for you, Nathan. So very well done. So next is the one that I'm sure we've been dreading because it's probably the most competitive.
Yeah.
And that's the under 16 Spirit of Aviation winner. So we'll go top threes again. I'm gonna make my OCD go mad, and I'm gonna start off with you, Martin, this time. So, what are your top three entrants for under 16?
Well, what I forgot to mention beforehand when we were sort of summing it all up is it was great to see that actually all of the kids' entries by far outweighed any of the adult entries, I've got to say. So well done to the under 16s. Really difficult. My top three are so close. In fact, they're all so close that it's very difficult to pick them out. But I think in order, so the third has got to be Milo with the straw-propelled aircraft. I thought that was just ingenious and just such a novel twist and a great way to propel his aircraft using that method of propulsion. For me, second, as a bit of a purist in the actual flying ability, it's got to be Nathan Minute because that thing just soared forever. And as Mike said, all the way to the end of the garden. I'm impressed they managed to retrieve it because you could barely see it by the end of the video. But actually, the Spirit of Aviation and being able to refine the design, the effort that was put into even launching it, reassess, evaluate, redesign, I think the top prize for me has got to go to Jake Officer. There was a nosedive right at the beginning there, and I think all of our hearts sank because we thought, "Oh no, that's it," and then it just swooped back up into the air with such brilliant flying qualities. So for me, it's Jake.
Excellent, thank you very much. And as you say, that was a great one to watch. We'll come to you next, Mike, for your top three in reverse order.
Thanks, Harvey. So I mentioned some of these guys earlier, but we've also, just to reiterate, I thought Nathan Minute was a great third place for me, flying all the way down the garden so well. Just like a dart it was, stable and lovely parabolic flight. I thought that Sarah did a great job. I thought that was great from a fun factor and creativity point of view, with the dog-powered aeroplane. I thought that was great fun. I thought Jake Officer did a great job. That just flew beautifully. The stability of that design and the way it landed so beautifully on the last flight was great. And I also loved the HB Envy, the one that was part of a printer box, Ryan's airplane with a great stealth capability, the camouflage, and that flew in a very stable way as well. So I think for me, I've got a joint first, if that's allowable. So that's Ryan and that's Jake. So they, for me, are my two favourites.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Mike. And Jessica, you've got the deciding vote. And if we don't come to a conclusion, we're going to have a fight. So, over to you, Jessica.
This is going to be difficult, I think. I don't know if this is going to help out much because, I did have something in common where I felt like Nathan was my top choice. And then Lily and Milo, follow very closely behind. But I know they're brother and sister. So I didn't want to make that difficult. But I like the propelled airplane with the straw. So I don't know if that's going to make it any easier. It was very hard to decide between everyone, but it was a wonderful job by all. It was wonderful to see the creativity, to see that everyone worked so hard on this. It captures the whole spirit of aviation.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Can you confirm your winner for me, Jessica?
Nathan?
Excellent. Right. We have not got a unanimous decision. I think we sort of have actually, because so we have our winner in the under 16 category for the Spirit of Aviation competition is Jake Officer. So well done, Jake.
Well done, Jake.
Round of applause. Crowd is going wild. It's been fantastic to catch up with all of you, and thank you for giving up your time. We've chosen two very deserving winners of this challenge, who I believe have got the pleasure of flying in an Aerobility aircraft with Martin Pert, which will be fantastic. I'm glad Martin knows about that already, otherwise it could have been a shock. But where else can you get that fantastic prize? So thank you all for taking part, and we hope to see you very, very soon.
Harvey, if I could just jump in real quick. Just thinking out loud and just chucking a little curveball at you guys. I was just thinking, given we've had some great entries, what we could do for the top 3 or 4 for the under 16s. Martin has kindly agreed to fly one of our airplanes either at Tainton Hill or at Blackbush. I guess maybe it may need to be next year now, but maybe the top 3 could come along and meet Martin on that day. If they're free, Martin, would that be okay?
Of course it would be. Yeah, it'd be an absolute pleasure. Yes.
I think that'd be great to make a nice day of it where we can and celebrate the top 3, which would be a lovely thing to do.
We'd love to.
So there was a little update there from Mike. So the top winner will receive the flight with Martin Pert in one of our aeroplanes. But the top 3 will get to come along and meet the great man himself. So, but fantastic prizes all around. Cool. Well, thank you. Have we got any more curveballs before we go?
Sorry, Harvey.
That's okay. So I feel like we should finish on a song, but we won't do that. But thank you all ever so much for joining us for these deliberations and coming to a conclusion of who won in both categories. I wish you all well over the next few weeks. But thank you also to the viewers who have tuned in at home. Please do keep up to date with what Aerobility are doing. There's an awful lot going on, despite the fact that it's not business as usual. But we look forward to seeing you soon either virtually or hopefully in person in the not too distant future. But for us, it's goodbye.
Night all.
Bye.
Thanks, Harvey.
Bye-bye.
Bye.